So you signed up for an IRA and you're probably wondering, now what? Well, today I'll be sharing with you what you should do to avoid losing out on thousands of dollars. Hi everyone, this is Camilla the Focus Spender, and welcome to my channel where I teach you how to get out of debt, save more money, and invest so that you can build wealth and leave a lasting legacy. Earlier this year, I was talking to my cousin about his Vanguard IRA. I asked him about the mutual funds he was invested in, and he said,
"The money market settlement fund."
I said, no, not where your money is deposited. The mutual funds or ETFs your money is invested in. After much back and forth and me having him log into his Vanguard account, we realized that his money was just going into the settlement fund, which is like where they hold your money before you invested for the past several years. Yes, years. In effect, this settlement fund is like a high yield savings account, not an actual investment. While he did manage to accumulate at least $8,000, his account balance could be, I don't know, $12,000 had he actually invested it into an actual fund. So let's start at the beginning, just in case you're confused as to what an IRA is. An IRA is an individual retirement account that allows you to save either in a tax-free or tax-deferred way. You can either open a traditional IRA, which will allow you to invest pre-tax, allowing you to save money on your taxes each year, or you can invest in a Roth IRA, which would allow you to invest in a tax-free way. So you would use money that has already been taxed, and no matter how high your account value grows, you would never be taxing that money again. The 2021 and 2022 max for an IRA is $6,000 or $7,000 if you are over the age of 50. And you have until April 15th of the following year. So for this year, 2021, you can invest in your IRA for 2021 up until April 15th of 2022. Now, I know that IRAs might sound completely unsexy, but my $6,000 a year Roth IRA has now hit $112,000. So you might want to think about it. Now that I've convinced you to open up an IRA, here's what you need to do next. Unless you open up an account with a robo-advisor like Betterment, you are actually going to have to pick funds for your money to be invested in, whether they're mutual funds or ETFs, or you can use stocks in your IRA. I have an account with Vanguard and I have 4 mutual funds invested in it. It did take me a few years to accumulate all these funds because some of these mutual funds have high minimum balances to join, like $3,000. And if the max is $6,000 for a year, you can only, join 2 funds within 1 year. And then when they have that minimum, you actually have to have all $3,000 at one time to invest in. Now, I don't want you to overthink your decision as to what funds you're gonna invest in, because I don't want you to become paralyzed with fear and invest in nothing. So I'm going to give you some suggestions as to what funds you should invest in. And I'm not going to tell you the actual funds, but more like the type of funds you can invest in. By far, the easiest way to invest in an IRA is the target fund by retirement year. So think about the year you're going to turn 65 and find a fund that is based on that year. The fund will consistently rebalance itself. So the younger you are, the more risky it will be. And as you age, it will become more and more conservative, leaning heavily towards bonds over stocks. You can also look for a dividend fund. So you can find a fund that is full of stocks that pay out dividends on a consistent basis. As these dividends are paid out, the money will be reinvested into your account, allowing you to get more and more shares of your fund. You can invest in a growth fund, so you can search for a fund that is full of growth stocks, basically stocks that are projected to grow really quickly and really fast in value, and that will allow your account value to grow really fast. You'll get less dividends, but the value of your shares will grow rapidly because it's full of stocks that will grow in value. You can invest in a REIT fund, which is a real estate investment trust, which will allow you to invest in the real estate market. Or you can invest in funds that are based on an international market like Japan or a particular industry. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. So I found my funds based on Google. I literally just did, searches like best mutual fund 2020, whatever year it was. I just used that year. I looked at funds paying high dividends. I looked at funds that, perform well in a certain year, etc. And then once I found the funds, I just did more research on them, looked at articles, looked at the past performance, and then I just said, okay, that's the fund I'm going to use. You might have a more scientific method, but this method worked for me. And the fact that I picked 4 different funds because I didn't want to have all my eggs in one basket worked out for me. So I do have one fund that has done much better than the others. While the others have done well, this one has skyrocketed. But honestly, I wouldn't have known to pick that fund. I just did my 4 so that I could have my money spread out in case of anything. If you learned nothing else from this video, I want you to make sure that your IRA is invested in something. Be sure to download my free guide, the 14 questions you must ask yourself before your next investment, and be sure to check out the next video that is popping up on your screen. Thanks. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.